Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to another Yap Session. In today's Yap Session, I want to talk about La Masia. And I want to talk about how fortunate we are as Barca fans to have La Masia. And obviously, me as a Barca fan growing up, I learned the history of La Masia. I learned how important it is to Barcelona. It's a cornerstone for the club. We all know some of the all-time great talents that have come out of the academy. Whether it's Messi, who's the GOAT, whether you have Xavi or Iniesta, who are both in the argument for GOAT midfielders. Sergio Busquets was the greatest CDM of all time, in my opinion at least. You have guys like Piqué and Puyol, who are both in the argument, or are two of the best center backs of this generation. You have a guy like Pedro, who was a pivotal part and a great contributor to multiple Champions League winning teams and and one of the most underrated players of this generation. You have a guy like Pep Guardiola, who wasn't a fantastic player per se, but is the greatest manager of all time. He came out of La Masia. A guy like Thiago Motta, who was a really good player for a number of years. A guy like Victor Valdés, who was a fantastic goalkeeper for over a decade. A guy like Mikel Arteta, who again wasn't the best player, but was a good player. And all these guys, we know how good they are. But La Masia today is insane, bro. The way that this academy has evolved and continues to produce all these amazing talents, it's unheard of. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because after watching that game yesterday, or 2 days ago is when you're watching this video, after watching that game 2 days ago against Betis, and watching Pau Cubarsí and Lamine Yamal, a 16 and a 17-year-old, on the same pitch as grown-ass men, and on the same pitch with players like Isco, who's a multiple-time UCL winner and a key contributor to UCL winning teams, 3P winning teams in the UCL. A guy who started a Champions League final over Gareth Bale, and who's still playing some of his best football right now, even at his advanced age. Isco's not even old, by the way, but even like past his prime a little bit, Isco's still fantastic. On the same pitch with a guy like Robert Lewandowski, who granted he's old and he sucks now, but he's still one of the greatest number 9s of all time. Of this generation, I should say. A guy like Ilkay Gundogan, who won a treble last year and was a pivotal part to that team and was a captain for that team. A guy like Frankie de Jong, who's one of the best midfielders in the world right now, or the best, and maybe I would argue he actually is the best, but he's in the argument for best midfielder in the world right now. On a pitch with a guy like Pedri, who he didn't come out on La Masia, but we know how good Pedri is, and he's obviously in the argument for best young midfielder in the world, or he's already in the argument for best midfielder period, not even young. On a pitch with a guy like Ronald Araujo, who's one of the best center backs in the world. On a pitch with a guy like, Ferran Torres, who obviously played for Man City. On that pitch, Lamine Yamal and Pau Cubarsí looked like grown-ass men and bossed that game. Again, 16 and 17 years old. A sophomore and a junior in high school. I don't know what the fuck you guys were doing when you were 16 and 17 years old. I can promise you I wasn't doing that. I was hitting the Mario Kart in the bathroom at school. That's what I was doing. I don't know. But anyway, this is not about me. It's about them too. And I feel like Barcelona are the only club that could be going through the financial situation that we're going through currently, where the club, let's be honest guys, it's in financial ruins. This club needs money desperately. The most expensive player we could sign in the summer was Oriol Romeu, who was under 5 million euros, or maybe a little bit over 5 million euros, but still, it wasn't some insane price tag. Real Madrid's most expensive player for context this summer that they signed was Jude Bellingham, and he was 102 million. And they want to sign Kylian Mbappe, and they want to sign all these different players. We can't afford to do that. And Barcelona this season, granted, we're not the best team in Europe this year, and me personally, I have hope we're going to win a trophy or two. I don't know what they're going to be, but I have hope we will. But granted, Barcelona are afloat this season because of La Masia. And afloat means we're top 4 in La Liga, we are in the round of 16 of the UCL, and we're in the Copa del Rey quarterfinals. A lot of teams, some teams, can't even say that they're in the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. I'm not going to say who those teams are, but we know who they are. I'm sorry to all my Real Madrid fans watching this, by the way. I just mentioned the name, but we know who, you guys knew who I was talking about anyway. It's just playful banter here. Don't get sad, don't cry. And the only reason why we can do that is because we have these kids who can come in at 16 and 17 years old and make an impact. There is no talent in the world currently like Lamine Yamal. It does not exist. No academy in the world can produce a guy like that, and he can come in with that amount of football maturity, and he can be that aware and that intelligent at such a young age. And be that impactful. Lamine Yamal arguably yesterday was the best player on the pitch. And on that pitch yesterday, there was one player for Betis who scored a double, and there was a Barca player who scored a hat-trick. And you could argue who's the best player on the pitch. Pau Cubarsí is a 16-year-old center back. And he looked like he had been playing center back for 50 years at the top level. Not 50 years is too long. For 5 or 6 years at the top level. And he just played his first game with the first team a week back against fucking, obviously, Unión de Salamanca. Lamine Yamal truly has the potential to be the best player in the world, to win a Ballon d'Or. He will win, mark my words, but Lamine Yamal will win a Ballon d'Or at some point in his career. In the next 7 years, Lamine Yamal will be a Ballon d'Or winner. He will be in the conversation competing with guys like Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland and any player you want to name. Phil Foden, he's in that conversation. But unlike those guys, He's 17, he just turned 17 years old. And that's not even mentioning guys like Marguillo, who won us a game this year against Atletico Bilbao. That's not even mentioning a guy like Fermín López, who every time he comes on the pitch, he makes an impact. That's not even mentioning a guy who, granted, this season is not having his best year, Alejandro Balde, but last year was one of the most promising and best fullbacks in Europe. Don't forget that about Balde, by the way. I clown him. Obviously, we as Barca fans were frustrated with his performances recently, but last year, Alejandro Balde was a pivotal part to a La Liga winning team. Like, with the resources that Barca have now, relying on this academy and the fact that they're producing such, like, the fact that these kids are coming in and seamlessly like that are making an impact at one of the biggest clubs in the world is unheard of, bro. I really don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. I truly don't think so. And there's some great academies out there, obviously. Man City has a pretty good academy. Arsenal has produced some good talent as of recent years. Obviously, we know about Ajax historically, and even recently, guys like Matthias de Ligt and Frankie de Jong came out of that academy. So there's some good academies in the world, but none of them coach up their players and install this philosophy in them like Barcelona do. And that's the reason why the best players at Barcelona are always players that come out of La Masia. Messi, obviously, who came out of La Masia, it's very rare that you have an outsider come in and he can feel welcomed or feel comfortable playing at Barcelona, because obviously they teach that from the ranks, starting when you're a little kid. Like when you're playing U7 football, all the way to you're in the first team, it's the same philosophy all the way, and we're seeing that right now. And I feel so proud to see a kid like Lamine Yamal. And even a guy like, I forgot to mention, Hector Fort, who, if it wasn't for him, maybe we don't win that game against Barbastro in the Copa del Rey, who played amazing. And the fact that, honestly, I was critical of Xavi, but the fact that yesterday he decided to trust on these two kids who were 16 and 17 years old, and the fact that both of those kids didn't let him down, that they actually proved the manager right in starting them, I'm so happy, man. I am so happy. I'm so happy to see this club and the talent that they produce. And this is the reason why Barcelona will never be irrelevant. No matter what happens to this team, no matter what happens, no matter what financial situation Barca are going through, no matter the crisis, Barcelona will always be a valuable football club because of La Masia and the recruiting. And the fact that they go through all these different cities in Spain and scout some of the best kids in the world, and they bring them over to La Masia, and they obviously sharpen them up, and they make them to be players who can play first team football at 16 years old and 17 years old and be arguably man of the match. Lamine Yamal is one of the few bright spots of Barcelona this season. He's been one of our best players this year when he plays. Every single time he plays. Against Villarreal, beginning of the season, he was fantastic. Yesterday against Real Betis, he was fantastic. Against Osasuna when he came in, he was fantastic. You don't see talents like that come out of many places. Again, I'm going to reiterate this because it's honestly absurd. He's 17, bro. Or 16. Actually, no. Pau Cubarsí, I think, is 17. Lamine Yamal is 16. I don't know. One or the other. They're both under 18 years old. And it's absurd what they're doing. And obviously, we see these players on the first team, but the players that are coming out through the ranks right now in La Masia currently are going to be studs as well. Guys like Juan Hernandez and Guille Fernandez and Shane Kluivert. All these players that I'm so excited to see, because I know that the second that they step foot on the first team, they're going to make the same impact that Lamine Yamal and Pau Cubarsí are making right now. Because I know, like, trust me, once you see these kids play in a couple years, you're going to remember this video. These kids, trust me, they're going to be good. Trust me, they're going to be good. I just want to give you guys 3 names that I'm really excited to see. Juan Hernandez, Guille Fernandez, and Shane Kluivert. Obviously, Shane Kluivert is the son of the legendary footballer Patrick Kluivert, who obviously played for Ajax, played for Barcelona, won at UCL, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe with AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong there. But anyway, I'm excited to see these guys play. I'm so happy to have La Masia. I want to know what you guys think of La Masia. How proud are you as a Barca fan to be able to say that La Masia is obviously your club's academy? Because I'm super proud to say that, like, for me, like, that's something that I'm most proud of with Barcelona. Yes, the UCLs are great, the troubles are great, but La Masia is one of the things that when I talk about Barca, it's one of the things that I always want to bring up. How amazing that academy is. And like I said, Barcelona will always be relevant because of La Masia. So yeah, man, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this Yap session about a fucking academy. If you watched all the way here, then I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love every single one of you, man. Thank you so much for the support on the YouTube channel so far. It honestly means the world to me. You guys don't understand how much it means to me. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.